Hello, ladies, gentlemen. The ladies playing gentlemen and the gentlemen playing ladies. Yes, this video is all about cross-gender play. It's specifically a response to Tower Guard DM's video, and some other people have been talking about it as well. Now, when we say cross-gender, we don't mean that they go off and have some sort of Operation Sex Change. No, we just mean that the player is playing a character who is the opposite gender to what they actually are. Now, I've always been a little bit concerned about it being too prolific. Essentially, what you end up having is real-world Earth political correctness and concepts being applied to a fantasy world when you're supposed to be trying to create a fantasy world that is believable within its own setting, or within the closest setting that you could appropriate to it, which is Earth, old world, medieval, whatever. Now, if we take that, then women weren't really a very high factor in the adventuring side of things. Questing and killing. Yes, there are examples of it out there, so you don't need to comment. We all know Joan of Arc and so on, alright? Yes, there are women warriors, but they aren't anywhere near as plentiful as males, are they? Now, obviously, in a world where there is a lot of other disastrous things happening, a lot of other races and monsters and gribblies running about doing harm, then yes, the women might step up a little bit more and become that Red Sonja type and get out there and do something. But still, the percentage won't be anywhere near as much as men, because women just are naturally more the fairer sex. They are a little bit less inclined to want to go off and kill everything. They don't have that testosterone that's driving them, you know. They are the nurturers, while men are the hunter-gatherers. Even the way our eyes work, we see is different. You know how, like, men can't see something in the fridge very easily like a women can, because they're straight ahead, you know. That's what the scientific reports have been saying. Anyway, and, you know, it's not sexism or anything like that. It's just accepting that there is a difference between the genders. You know, men use logic. They can separate themselves from things a little bit easier than women can. Women make decisions based more upon their emotions, and they are more in touch and act upon their emotions more, whereas men might, well, feel the emotions, but still the logic is dictating their hand more. So there is a real difference between the governing factors that make the two gender forces operate. The thing that bothers me is when you get a party, it's almost like a done thing. That if it's like a TV show or some artwork on the front of a book, there's always got to be a female. And you know, they do that other thing. It's not just genders either. They do the split up thing where it's like one elf, one dwarf, blah 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 blah. You know, and that's just silly, isn't it? Just one of each race. You know, why have that as well? Sometimes you would have an adventure where it's only men. It's going to happen. You shouldn't feel like there has to be a woman in the party. It's not. You're not being sexist by not doing it. Okay? You know, men are more inclined to get out and want to kill things, you know. They're more inclined to do that. That's saying nothing against women. I'm just stating facts here. When it crosses over into massively multiplayer online role-playing games, such as World of Warcraft and so on, you get these RP servers, okay? I've had some personal experience of this. Some of the people that play on the RP servers, some of them roll a woman character, because yes, they like the look of her and that sort of thing, but they are trying to get into the character as well. And what inevitably happens with some of those players is they end up engaging in cyber sex relations, and it is usually lesbian cyber sex relations. So it's usually, and that's usually with another guy playing a girl. So you end up with a guy pretending to be a girl having sex with a girl who's actually a guy pretending to be the girl in an online game. So that is like messed up. Is that like, that's initially gay because it's girl and girl, but then that's like double gay when you flip it. It's like the double gay. That's incredible, you know? You've got the two levels of gay. You do not just one level. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone that actually has done this before, But it is, isn't it? I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. Your life choice is your life choice. You know, you go off and, you know, experience things as you. And for some people, maybe that are younger and just sort of like maybe developing their own sexual identity anyway, it's maybe a bit of experimentation and that sort of thing. But those role play servers, that's fine if you want to go there and do that. I'm not anyone to tell you how you should spend your time, your money, or what you should do with that. And I, as a player, because I've got my right to have my opinion too, just like you have, to do what you want, have felt uncomfortable knowing that that's going on around me and having people try and, you know, even engage me in things that are a bit too far, you know, a step too far for that roleplay server. I'm sort of like, yeah, okay, well, leaving this now or logging off or something, okay, because that's, no. When we were going to be creating characters on that roleplay server, we were all going to make a guild, and there was going to be the three of us running it, so we were going to be a triumvirate. But the character concept came first, that it was going to be all women running it. I had to get it in my head that I was going to be playing a woman, a priestess. I made her part of an order that is completely celibate, knowing that this sort of thing goes on, so I took her out of that possibility of equation, you know? Because I don't want to experience it in that way. And so, yeah, I played her, you know, strictly, religiously, very, very true to her ideas. And so, yeah, that was an interesting experience, playing another gender. Usually, I do prefer to play males in things, but I suppose that's just because I can identify with them a bit more. Sometimes you want to play elements of your own self in your characters, don't you? And if you are male, then inevitably a lot of those elements will need to come out through a male persona. However, we all have a feminine side as well, so it's interesting for some of those players to be able to explore feminine elements of their conceptualization that could perhaps be used in their female characters. So it's all a good thing, and it's okay, as long as the reasoning's right behind it. Just be careful. Don't feel like every group has to have a woman. Don't feel like they've got to be massively prolific in the world. But again, think about the setting and think how likely and appropriate it would be that a woman would be out there being stupid with a sword, cutting things until they die, until loot falls out of them. Or whether they might have a bit more common sense and try and earn some money the proper way. Well, those have been some thoughts on the cross-gender debate. And until next time, I will see you at the table.